There's a moment near the end of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black where you retrace the original Ninja Gaiden's opening level in reverse. I know that level like the back of my hand, having played it over and over again on a demo disc until I could beat the first boss without getting hit. That stage is dilapidated and falling apart here. You can see the damage caused by time and the events of the first game. Ninja Gaiden 2 never directly comments on this. It's a moment of subtlety that's very un-Ninja Gaiden. But as I ran back through those familiar stomping grounds, I had an enormous smile on my face. Like this remake as a whole, it may not be quite what it once was, but slicing and dicing my way through it feels as good as ever. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is supposed to be the definitive edition of Ninja Gaiden 2. This is, without equivocation, a remarkable visual upgrade to an already excellent action game. But unfortunately, it's also not the end-all, be-all edition of Ninja Gaiden 2 that the Black moniker implies. Like many of the weapons Ryu wields, 2 Black is something of a double-edged sword. Its changes cut both ways. Like previous versions, 2 Black takes place a year after the Xbox reboot of Ninja Gaiden. The story is more of an excuse for ultimate badass Ryu Hayabusa to travel the world and turn fiends and ninjas alike into limbless torsos than it is a fleshed out narrative. That said, I forgot how funny it is.
You don't know her? Neither do I.
Greater fiends quote Shakespeare at you.
Your path is one of sound and fury.
You fight a lightning man on the Statue of Liberty. A giant 4-armed werewolf named Wolf brings you to the Colosseum in Venice, which is full of other werewolves, for a duel to the death, and he's like, "Do you want him to die?" And all the werewolves cheer. And then he's like, "Who do you want to kill him?" And then all the werewolves are like, "Wolf!" And he's like, "Yes, I, Wolf, will kill him."
He shall be given an honorable death.
This, folks, is the best camp this side of the river. But you're not here for the plot, you're here for the combat, and on that front, 2 Black delivers and then some. Ninja Gaiden 2's whole deal is that you can de-limb enemies, cutting off arms, legs, and even heads as you rip through rooms, opening them up for an instant execution. The downside is that injured enemies are even more dangerous. These dudes will jump on you, stab you, and blow themselves up to kill you. Unlike Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden is not about styling on your enemies, it is about surviving. Your foes will not stand there and wait for you to attack them, nor will they do long, slow attacks with a noticeable windup. No, they're fast, ferocious, and unrelenting, and they're pretty sure you said something about their mama. They want you dead. Luckily, Ryu isn't your typical Action Jackson pro-tag. Even by genre standards, he has a ton of unique weapon options, fancy ninja magic, and a complex moveset to learn. You haven't lived until you've pulled off the almighty Izuna drop and slammed a dude's head into the ground so hard that it explodes. In recent years, action games have leaned on parries and invincibility frames to get you out of trouble, but that's not how 2 Black operates. Ninja Gaiden is about positioning, aggression, and mastery of both your weapons and a slew of techniques. At its best, this is a symphony of death, and you're the conductor, chaining together combos, dodging and counterattacking, and using your ultimate techniques to do this. Ryu is always the coolest guy on screen, and when you're cooking, the enemies give off that "surely I will be the guy that kills John Wick" vibe. When you're not, you can die very, very quickly. It's not as unforgiving as it sounds. Most of your life is restored between encounters, and there are items or blue essence to heal you in a pinch mid-combat. It's never over until it's over. All that said, the camera can be a little janky and get stuck in weird places from time to time. This is a minor annoyance, but the other notable combat problem is boss quality. Some of them are challenging, memorable, and fun, but others, well, they can kinda suck.
Burning! Burning!
either because they're not engaging to fight or because they force you to play in ways that zap the fun from Ninja Gaiden 2's combat system. Even some of the best fights can overstay their welcome with repeated reruns.
You must be Genshin.
I mean, I love the Genshin fight, but did I really need to do it 4 times?
How many times will you stand in our way?
How many more times do I need to teach you this lesson, old man?
Genshin. Go back to hell.
Between fights, you'll get to explore each level, which are linear but still reward heading off the beaten path. It's here that you'll see the depth of 2 Black's visual upgrades. Yeah, the new character models look amazing, love the new hair, Sonya, but the lighting changes and texture upgrades really make these environments pop. Ninja Gaiden 2 has always been gorgeous, but it's easy to forget how ambitious it was. These levels are huge, and the platforming sections are largely really enjoyable. I particularly like the one in the clock tower. Running up walls and doing bird flips is fun. Who knew?
Our time has come. Your lifeblood shall spill, and you shall die!
So, overall, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is pretty great. If anything though, its biggest flaw is that it's based more on the 2009 PlayStation 3 port, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, than it is on the original 360 version. This is a little inside baseball, but these 2 games are very, very different. I'm not going to go into extreme detail here because there's too much to list. So much so that Team Ninja even had to make a comparison table for all the different versions. But the differences I really want to highlight are the changes to enemy density and health. Sigma 2 substantially reduced the number of enemies on screen at once, and 2 Black follows suit. In exchange, they get more health and take longer to delimb, but are less aggressive. Even a ninja dog could tell you that these changes make combat worse. Environments are often empty and enemies feel spongy. I even went back and played the original Ninja Gaiden 2 on Series X after completing 2 Black's roughly 10-hour campaign, and it just feels faster and better. On the other hand, 2 Black does bring back the higher level of gore in the original release, as well as its better weapons upgrade system. Even intro screens before each mission resemble the more appealing ones from the original release instead of Sigma 2's. These things may feel minor, but they matter. 2 Black also smartly removes the not great giant Buddha statue and Statue of Liberty boss fights Sigma 2 added, while retaining its good additions like the Dark Dragon. And while enemies are still spongier than in the original, they do at least feel less spongy than Sigma 2, and there seem to be more of them. New levels where you play as Rachel, Mamaji, and Ayane are also a welcome inclusion from Sigma 2. None of these characters have Ryu's expansive kits, so there isn't as much depth to them, but they all feel unique and are fun to play as, especially in one-off chapters. Finishing the campaign unlocks additional costumes for every character, as well as chapter challenges if you want to replay chapters and compete for a high score, though there aren't online leaderboards this time. Lastly, there are some bugs here and there. It crashed on me once, and I saw a few texture bugs in extremely funny places, and once a door with some enemies behind it failed to open. The latter was admittedly really funny, as I heard rocket ninjas shooting at me from inside a train, but it did mean that I had to restart from my last checkpoint to fix it. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is neither Ninja Gaiden 2 nor Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, but instead a secret third thing that mixes both versions together to create something that is wholly unique and by far the most beautiful version of this excellent action game yet. While I have a hard time calling it the definitive release because I prefer the original's more dudes who are more aggressive but die faster approach, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is a definite improvement over Sigma 2, fixes several long-standing issues, and unlike the original, isn't trapped on the Xbox 360. It isn't the version I was hoping for, get on it modders, but it's still an incredible game and I'm happy it exists. If this is really it for Ninja Gaiden 2, it will at least go out on a high note. This trip through time reminded me that while you can't go home again and nothing will ever truly be like it was, that doesn't mean something can't still be beautiful. Ninja Gaiden 2 is remarkable, even with its flaws, and it's good to finally have it back in black.
Your death will atone for generations of hate. The bloodline of the Dragon Ninja ends here.
For more gore, check out our review of Sniper Elite Resistance, or for a goofier flavor of carnage, our review of Orcs Must Die Death Trap. And for everything else, stick with IGN.